If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're considering signing up for one of those online contact lens subscription services, such as that provided by Aveo Contacts. But you have a few questions, right? Because these are your eyes we're talking about. These things are going to be sitting on your eye. It's not like glasses that are just sitting in front. They're actually making contact with you, and you know how important your quality of vision is. Yeah, we care about the price, but more than anything, we also care about how is it going to be affecting our quality of vision, the health of our eyes. And that's why I'm going to be approaching this video from a different perspective. Unlike many other reviews where they talk about their own personal experience with the contacts and how it worked for them or how it maybe didn't work for them, I don't want to approach it that way because my eyes are possibly different from yours. Your needs are different than mine. So I'm going to be talking about the lens material, about how it compares to something that your doctor might be suggesting, how they compare to some other more household brand names that you may be familiar with. And I'm going to be giving you that information so that you could see if these contact lenses are possibly the right choice for you. So if this is the kind of information that you're looking for, keep on watching. You won't be disappointed. So before we start talking about the product, I do just want to take 30 seconds of your time to encourage you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. On this channel, we provide lots of information and resources that help you take care of the health of your eyes and the quality of your vision. We have this channel, we have our website, eyeinfluence.org. We are a nonprofit organization, so you know the information on here is honest and truthful. All right, so now that we're done with that, let's get to what you came here for, which is talking about Aveo Contacts. I believe that in order to properly understand Aveo Contacts, we need to take a look at the backstory, and that is with its founder and CEO, Cecile Thai. Now, the story that a lot of us get is that of a young college student that was wearing contacts in a way that she probably shouldn't have done, and she had a bad experience. She ended up wearing her contacts to sleep, maybe for more days than she should have. After wearing her contacts in this way, she started to feel some discomfort, so she ended up going to her eye doctor, where she was told that she had severe corneal hypoxia, which is essentially where the cornea is not getting sufficient oxygen. And her doctor told her, look, you can't wear contacts for some time. You have to let your eyes heal, recover, and even once they are healed and recover, we suggest that you go into daily disposable contact lenses because they're much healthier for your eyes. You throw them away, you don't sleep in them, you put a fresh pair every day. And as the story goes, she took this experience, right, this bad experience, a little parenthesis here, she did end up having laser corrective surgery instead of going back into contacts, so she herself does not wear contacts anymore. But this inspired her to essentially start the company Aveo Contacts because she wanted to provide a better solution for those people that needed daily disposable contacts so that they could take better care of the health of their eyes. She ended up going to business school in Chicago. She got her MBA. She graduated in 2016. In 2017, the company was founded. In 2018, they launched in the United States. So the progress was very quick, which really surprised me. But from my understanding from other contact lens manufacturers, it wouldn't have really been that hard, right? You outsource your contacts. You just essentially tell them, look, sell us your contacts, put our name on here, let us distribute it. And that's what I thought Aveo was, because that's how their competition does it. But I dug a little deeper, and I was kindly corrected by one of the Aveo representatives when I had mentioned this in my article, assuming that they outsource their contacts. They said, no, we manufacture our contacts and distribute our own contacts. And I was really surprised. And as I dug a bit deeper, because I thought that I was right, of course, I did discover that Aveo does in fact manufacture their own contacts using a contact lens factory in Malaysia. But the story actually gets a little bit better here. It turns out that Cecile Thai, the CEO and founder of Aveo Contacts, is actually the daughter of Stephen Thai, the founder of a company in Malaysia called Supermax. Now, Supermax is one of the world's largest exporters of latex gloves. So to summarize it, they have good resources, right? They're well off. And of course, that in itself isn't enough to have a successful company. Her having an MBA from a nice business school isn't sufficient. That's not gonna do it in and of itself. She took her resources, and when she was established, I believe it was in 2017, where she was elected or placed as an executive director of Supermax, she actually diversified the company by starting a contact lens unit. They called it Supervision Optimax. And this is the parent company of Aveo Contacts, or it's the same company, they're just doing business as Aveo Contacts. And the reason why I wanted to mention this, because it may seem like unnecessary information, but none of the other contact lens manufacturers that have online subscription services, they outsource the manufacturing of their contacts. They just rebrand the boxes with their own name and then they sell it. It is a direct-to-consumer distribution company in a lot of the other cases, but Aveo is different. They actually do, in fact, manufacture their own contacts, and I do believe this contributes to why their contacts are less expensive. And this is where we want to start talking about the product. So since they're in full control, since they have less people that they have to pay in between, right, for outsourcing and things like that, since they're able to go directly just through themselves, through their own factory, they're able to offer it to the consumer at $30. So $15 per 30 pack. You're getting currently the cheapest online subscription service for contacts that's on the market at the moment. Hubble, I believe, is at $33. Waldo, I believe, is at $36. This is at the moment. Those prices are always, of course, subject to change. Let's get into 3 different parameters or 3 different areas of a contact lens that we're going to be comparing from between Aveo, Hubble, Waldo, and a few other household name brand contact lens manufacturers that you've probably been wearing if you're currently a contact lens wearer. So the first thing is the polymer itself, the lens material of the contacts. The second thing will be the water content, and the third thing is going to be the oxygen transmissibility. So how much oxygen is the contact lens actually allowing to get to the cornea? So let's start by talking about the material. Aveo contacts currently are made out of a polymer or a material, a hydrogel, that is called Amorphilcon A. Now this is a material that was developed by CooperVision, and with my research I was able to see that the earliest time that they used it was back in 2006 for their ProClear monthly lenses. CooperVision actually still does use Amorphilcon A for their ProClear daily lenses. This may lead us to say, well, okay, that's great. Aveo contacts are the exact same thing like the CooperVision ProClear 1 Days. It doesn't work like that. It's technically the same polymer, the same hydrogel material, but it's not the same lens. They're coming from 2 different factories, right? You could give one person a fabric, let's say cotton, and they could go to 2 completely different factories, and the way that they use those materials will produce different results. I'm not saying that that makes Aveo's inferior, but what I'm saying is that we can't expect them to be exactly the same, okay? So I do just want to make that clear because I don't want it to come across as me saying that the Aveo lenses are exactly the same as a CooperVision ProClear 1 Day, because they are not. They're coming from 2 different factories. They possibly have different manufacturing processes, though they are very similar on paper. We do not want to say that they are exactly the same, because once again, this is not a rebranding of an existing product that they're outsourcing. They themselves are making it in their own factory. So the second thing I want to talk about is water content. But before we go into the water content and the DKT value, I want to mention that one parameter alone, if it has a high number or low number, is not going to make a lens better quality or lower quality. When we're talking about these different parameters like the lens material, the water content, the oxygen transmissibility, these are all just different factors that are going to affect the way that you feel the contacts to be comfortable or not, fresh after 8 hours. So all these things will contribute to it, but no one thing is really gonna define if a lens is superior to another. So I just wanted to mention that, because when we're looking at these numbers, it's easy to say, hey, look, I have a very high water content and that one has a low water content, so that one's bad and I'm better. No, that's not the way it works. Everything contributes, okay? So let's talk about the water content. So on this graph, that you see in front of you. We have the Aveo contact lenses, Hubble, and Waldo. Those are the 3 online subscription services. Then we have the Acuvue Oasis 1 Day, Cooper My Day, Ciba Total 1, and the Bausch & Lomb Biotrue. So those are the 4 daily disposables that are really popular and are made by the top contact lens manufacturers in the industry. All right, so if we look at the water content, Aveo is pretty good. At 59%, it is better than Hubble, better than Waldo, and it's even better than the Acuvue Oasis 1 Day. But like I said, keep in mind that that alone should not be the determining factor when we say this is a superior product to that which has a lower number. That alone is not going to do it. All right, so we see 59%, which is good. That means that 59% of that lens is made up of water. Now, somebody presented a really good question to me because they asked, if a contact lens has a higher water content, as the moisture from that contact lens is evaporating, does that mean that it's going to be sucking out or pulling more moisture from the eye, leading to possibly drier eyes? Unfortunately, one thing that we do not have access to, and I don't even know if this is something that is measured currently, is the evaporation rate of the water content or of the moisture or whatever liquid is contained in these contact lenses. So one thing that I wish we had available to us is the evaporation rate, because you could have a material, let's say like the Oasis 1 Day lenses, which has water content of 38%, but how does that material, how is that polymer that they're using retaining that moisture? Is it less likely to evaporate? As opposed to, let's say, an older material, which is a hydrogel, is it possible that it has a higher water content, but maybe it evaporates faster? We don't know that. So that's why this is just a piece of information that I want you to take as a grain of salt. I don't want it to be the single determining factor as to whether or not you get one or the other. So now let's take a look at the DKT value, which is the oxygen transmissibility. And as we can see, the material used by Aveo Contacts has a DKT value of 37. You know, when you look at the competition, you're gonna definitely see that it's not the highest, it's definitely not the lowest when you compare it to Hubble. So the reason why you're gonna see that Aveo, Hubble, and Waldo have these low DKT values is primarily because they're using a hydrogel lens. So it's not like the new silicone hydrogel lenses, which do allow a lot more oxygen to pass through. So that's why you see that the Acuvue lenses, Cooper, and Ciba lenses are all over, or at least at 100. So in the case of the Ciba Total 1s at 156, that's really good. And then the water content at 80%, that's really high also. Once again, that doesn't mean that it's the best. We have some people that wear other brands and are perfectly happy with it. But nonetheless, that's why you see the difference. And the reason why the Bausch & Lomb Biotrue is at 42 is because it's not a silicone hydrogel, even though it's a new lens technically, but it's a hydrogel. It's not silicone hydrogel. And that's why their DKT value is so low. So as you can see, Aveo holds its own in its category, right? If we compare it to the Biotrue, the water content isn't that far off and the DKT value is lower, but compared to everyone else, they actually do have better numbers. And collectively, I'd have to say that this should lead to a better quality lens. Now, this is going to be up to your eyes to determine because everyone's eyes are different. I'm not going to say that this is the best choice for you. So with this information, I don't want you to be discouraged. Let's say if you're wearing the Biotrue lenses and you're like, wow, why am I paying so much for these Biotrue lenses? Which they're not that expensive really. Out of all of them, they're probably the least expensive. But don't be discouraged if you're wearing them and if you're paying a bit more for them, or if you're wearing the Aveos and you see the numbers that Acuvue is producing. You really got to try it out. You got to talk to your eye doctor, see if these lenses are a good fit for you. One thing that you do want to take into consideration is that Aveo, Waldo, and Hubble do not offer astigmatism versions or multifocal versions of their daily disposable lenses. They're only spherical powers. So if you have astigmatism, unfortunately, that's already a deal breaker for you right there. At least currently, as of January 2019, they do not offer those versions, but you do find it in the Acuvue Cooper Vision, the Ciba and Bausch & Lomb daily disposable lenses, they have an option for you if you have astigmatism or if you need a multifocal lens. Options such as those are available for you in some of these more common brands like Acuvue and so on. Another thing is, look, yes, some of these materials that are being developed today, some people may or may not notice a difference, right? At least not immediately. You may not notice the difference. But nonetheless, they are advanced materials compared to those old hydrogel materials that were developed in some cases like 20 years ago. And there's a reason why they stopped using them, or why they upgraded from Amorphilcon A to Amorphilcon B, and why the newer contact lenses have higher oxygen transmissibility. They're doing that because of the research and data that is showing that the eyes benefit from those kinds of things. And so it's not to discourage you from getting Aveo, but it's also not to discourage the person that currently has the Acuvue Oasis. You shouldn't feel bad if you're wearing those more expensive lenses, because your eyes could be greatly benefiting from some of those, advanced polymers that are being used in the newer contact lenses. So you don't want to, just take this information and say, oh yeah, see, Aveo isn't, that far off of the big brand names. They can be. It depends. Depends on how it works for you. And yeah, they might not be. Once again, it also comes down to how it fits and works for you. And so that's why I didn't want to approach this and just say they did or did not work for me, and hence they will or will not work for you. I just wanted to give you this information. And one thing that I will say to start wrapping this up is that I'm happy with the things that I found with the Aveo compared to what I found from their competition. And if you saw that diagram, you know what company I'm referring to. I'm happy to say that I was pleasantly surprised when I looked into Aveo Contacts that they do in fact manufacture their own contact lenses. So I think that if they wanted to make improvements, if they wanted to come out with something new, I think that they're going to be the leader in this online subscription contact lens service. If they aren't already, I think that they will be leading the pack pretty soon, because they don't have to wait as long. They're in full control of it. I hope that this information was useful to you. I know that it had a lot of technical data, but believe me, it is something that could serve you quite well, as opposed to just hearing somebody say that it worked for them and so it should work for you. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments section below. And if this video was useful to you, please hit the like button. It helps other people find this video that I hope you found useful too. So once again, I am Oliver for Eye Influence. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day.